segula. Everybody likes a good segula. You know? Put the key in the challah, and you're going to be rich.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, of course.
Not a big fan of segulas personally.
So segulas have to be understood. There is a power to it. We're called the Am Segula. Melechus Kohanim Goy Kodesh and Am Segula. What does that mean? Am Segula means a treasured nation. Has to do with the segul. There's what to talk about, but it's not as fancy as I think some people make it sound like. Right? Let's see what Rabbi Nachman says this segula. Yeah, doesn't hear segula for hasmada. Sheyizkili as masmid b'limudo. That a person should be zoche to be a masmid limudo. Give me a good English translation of masmid. What do you think?
It's not really the tummy. Is it always?
It is.
It's always right.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Diligent, maybe. Right. Persistent. What's the difference between consistent and persistent? Any English majors over here?
Persistent and what?
Consistent.
Yeah, persistent. Well, persistent has a connotation, I think,
like
of pushing.
Yeah, pushing,
and
right?
Consistent.
Pushing, consistency, persistent.
And consistency feels like just without push. Just regular, but without push.
I'm sure ChatGPT is going to try to tell us, of course, right?
Consistent means regularly, reliably, and in the same way over time.
That's persistent?
No, that's consistent.
Consistent, okay. Say it again louder.
Regularly, reliably, and in the same way over time.
Okay, that's big.
Focuses steadiness and predictability.
Okay.
Persistence is not giving up. It's about determination.
Right.
Effort despite difficulty or obstacles.
Right. Persistence is pushing through. Great pop quiz. If you'd have to pick one sphera, I know it's important to do this. I'm not sure you're holding one sphera that would represent or be the source of persistence. That's a. What about consistent?
Yesod.
Maybe Yesod. Maybe Hod. Maybe it's Hod and Yesod. I'm sorry, Netzach and Netzach and Hod. Consistency, Timidius. Maybe it's Hod. Could also be Tiferes, maybe. But let's say it's Hod. And then persistent, the body, will be Netzach and Hod. Interesting. So a segula for Hasmada. Everybody wants to learn Torah. Everyone wants to be a masmid. If we have the time, masmid could also be, in the yeshivas. Remember, they used to tell you 60 minutes an hour. You got to learn 60 minutes an hour. Right? Not everybody has 8, 10, 12 hours a day to learn. It'd be very nice. But if you're going to learn, you have the hour, learn the 60 minutes. Sometimes people learn 30 minutes out of an hour, 20 minutes out of an hour. But be a masmid in whatever time you have. If you have 10 minutes, learn 10 minutes. It's a big thing. Because if you only take 7 minutes out of 10, and the next time it's 5 minutes out of 10, and one time it's 10 out of 10, at the end of the year, you had thousands of minutes and you only used a small percentage of it. So how could we zoche to be a master b'limuda, which we all would like to be? Huli zar livli l'daber el shem ish Yisrael. He says, Rabbi Nachman, here you want to hear segula. Don't speak badly about any yid. A segula for Hasmada b'Torah. Now we have to explain that. Just like by a kala, he yofe, right? You have a kala, it's beautiful. Chasen, kala. Their ahava is b'shleimus, right? When he sees the beauty in her, then his ahava is b'shleimus. Or if the kala has a chisarn or a mum, which the chasen sees and clearly is bothered by, right? If the kala has a mum and he's not bothered by it, that's Shalom Yisrael. It's still ahava shleimus. But if she has something that's lacking in her and the chosin is bothered by that, then there's a chisaron, as I bevada, ein ahava b'shlemus. The ahava is not going to be b'shlemus. That relationship is going to be lacking something until either she can fix it or he can overcome that lacking that he sees. Kamokain, just like by chosin and kala and ahava, kamokain ha-Torah nikres kala. The Torah is called the kala to us. Kamasha kosef. He brings a raya. The Torah tells us, Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha. Right? The Torah tziva lanu Moshe, that Moshe commanded us, morasha is an inheritance, a Yerusha. Yes? Mm-hmm. It's inheritance. Moshe, to Aaron, to the children, to Klal Yisrael, to us. But the Rabbanan darshan something different. I mean, Pashup Pshat is still good, but they also darshan something. The darshan Rabbi Zeno Zechron Levracha al tikre morasha ella me'orasa. Erison. Eris hare at mu'uresa sli. It's a lashon of erison, meaning you're saying to the lady, get married to me. So the Torah, which is a Yerusha, which is a father to a son, father-son relationship, very important. It's also me'orasa, it's also a husband to a wife relationship. Us in the Torah, there's supposed to be an ahava. Father and son, maybe it's respect. You have to respect the Torah. There's always different bechinas. But between a husband and wife, there's supposed to be ahava, there's supposed to be love. That's what connects them together. Ahava is gamacha echad. You make one, a zivug, a yichud, all these different lashonos. So by us in the Torah, it's the same thing. The kol echad mi Yisrael yesh la'os b'Torah. We know every yid has his letter in the Torah. Some people paid money, when writing a sefer Torah, you have a letter in the Torah mamish. The kol echad mi Yisrael yesh la'os b'Torah. Every yid has an os in the Torah, in that big Torah in Shemayim. Ki shishim riba os yis Torah, because the Torah has 600,000 letters. It's not exactly, but the bechin of 600,000 is keneged shishim riba nishmas Yisrael. 600,000 root souls of Klal Yisrael are represented by the 600,000 osios of the Torah. Okay? So everybody has his letter. Everybody has a letter in the Torah. Ukesheyesh chisaron be'echad mi Yisrael, and if there's a chisaron lacking in one yid, one member of Klal Yisrael, nimsa sheyesh chisaron b'Torah, then Memela is going to be a chisaron in the Torah itself, because every Torah is made up of all the yidden. If there's a chisaron in a yid, then a yid is also a yud, right? Then there's a chisaron of a yud in the Torah. If you have one letter that's scratched off half of it, Pasul Sefer Torah. The entire Sefer Torah is Pasul. One letter is half scratched out. There's 600,000 letters. One, what's the percentage? 1 out of 600,000. 0.0 something. Yet, 1 os? No Torah. It's a chisaron in the shleimus of Torah. As we're going to say, Torah Hashem, Tamima has to be Tom. Tamimus has to be whole, perfect. One O is gone, no good. So if there's a chisaron in a Jew, which means there's a chisaron in os in the Torah, the nimsa sheish chisaron b'Torah shesham shorish nishmas Yisrael k'nizkar leo. Like we said, the Torah is hosted by the root neshamos of Yisrael. Agav, it's important to always tell over that Eliyahu Novi himself says in Tanakh of Eliyahu, he says, if it's towards the beginning, I've seen it before inside. He says if a person would stop you on the street, or if I would stop somebody on the street now, I would say, "Hey, Mr. Jew, Torah or Yisrael? Which one's greater, the Torah or Klal Yisrael?" So Eliyahu Novi says, most people will tell you Torah is greater, but I'll tell you Klal Yisrael is greater. Because what was the tachlis of the Torah? It was only to serve a Klal Yisrael. Because all of Machshav Techila Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create a Klal Yisrael, therefore he made a Torah in order that Klal Yisrael could keep that Torah and serve him. But first came Klal Yisrael, then came the Torah. Estakel Baraisa Barei Alma, Kadosh Baruch Hu looked into the Torah and created the world. Why did he want to create a world? He looked into the Torah to build. Right? Torah's the blueprints. But why were the blueprints even written? Because Hashem wanted a world. Why did he want a world? Because he wanted Klal Yisrael to be there. So Klal Yisrael comes before the Torah. So the Torah is made up of the 600,000 root souls of Klal Yisrael because they came first. They're the Shoresh. Right? You can't have an os in the Torah. You can't have a Torah without the osios. The osios are the Nishmas Yisrael. So what came first? Nishmas Yisrael. Right? So Kol Torah Kula, learning it, keeping it, and then Memela, the entire world really, because Estakel Baraisa Barei Alma Kadosh Baruch Hu looked into the Torah and created the world. It's only if there's a shleimus of Klal Yisrael. We only got the Torah by Yichan Shem Yisrael Leginah. Right? So if the original receiving of the Torah, the giving of the Torah, was because Klal Yisrael was acting as one, every os was written in the Torah, every yid was ba'achdus, loving each other, there's no chesronos in Klal Yisrael, therefore Kadosh Baruch Hu built the Torah and gave us the Torah. So too, when we're Mekayim the Torah, we're trying to keep it, it's the same way. Now, we can't lose the Torah, it's never gonna be taken away from us. So even if you find the chisaron in a Jew, the Torah's not going to go back to Shemayim, but you won't be able to learn it. Because to you, the Torah is possible. You possibly. Because you saw a chisaron in a Jew. You saw a chisaron in a Jew, you made a chisaron in os of the Torah, your Torah is possible. Who wants to learn from a Pasal Torah? Yeah, we look at it, it's nice, he has the gartel around it, we give you a kiss, we carry you on Simchas Torah, but you're not going to open up and learn it. You can't, it's possible. So who disrupts our own learning, our own inability to see other Jews in a positive way? But that Jew did so many things wrong. Okay, true. But what about the good things? Does he have any good things? Yadam Kavschus, Azamra, Reish Beis. We find something. Are you perfect? There's a million ways to go with this. Right? That's other Torahs that have been Nachman and Chassidus in general. But right now we're just saying what happens if you find a Chisaron in a Jew. Your Torah is possible. When you find the Chisaron Echad Yisrael, and it could be sometimes not just you're seeing a Chisaron in a Jew. If a Jew be'etzem has a Chisaron, right? He's a Ganav. That could also pass the Sefer Torah for Klal Yisrael. And it's upon us to be done the Gaschus on him. It's upon us to try to bring him to Tshuva, right? Because even an os that wants to be an os, that's also good. But if I don't want to be an os because I don't feel connected to Klal Yisrael, because no one likes me, because they see bad in me and I'm going to run away. But we could bring him back, and we could make him want to be an os again. So then the Torah's, it's okay. But when a Yid doesn't feel good about himself because no one's making him feel good about himself, and he decides, I don't want to be here anymore, he just lost a piece of the Torah. The Torah's possible. But we don't see it like that. We're like, okay, Yid, you can go. We don't need you. We have 599,999 Nishmas Yisrael. We don't need you. That's great. But you pass the Sefer Torah. So that's why we have to do Kir. We have to try to bring people back together. We bring ourselves closer to the Sefer Torah. We have to see only good in people. What does it say by Hillel? Not Hillel. Aaron Cohen. Heavy Talmid shel Aaron Cohen. No, what does it say in Mishnah Perkei Avos?
Loving people, coming closer to the truth.
Oh, we have Torah. You have to bring people close to Torah. That's the name of Aaron Cohen. To love a Yid, to bring him close to Torah. That's exactly what it is, to bring the Os back to the Sefer Torah. Because again, sometimes if a Yid himself feels like a Chisaron, we're going to talk about this soon. If a Yid himself feels like a Chisaron, then it's upon us to bring him back in. We have to seek him out. And obviously, Israel is not only when you get a mail, you get some mailing about some tzedakah that needs your help, and then you're like, oh, you know what, maybe I should help them. We have to go out and proactively seek, obviously, Israel, to bring you Jews back, to make them feel good. Active. You feel good about yourself. It's Kedai. If there's a chisaron in the Torah, and to you the Torah is puzzle, then it's impossible to love the Torah. B'shleimus. Right? Just like the chassan can't fully love the kala if to him there's a chisaron. Now the tachlis, of course, of a chassan and kala, no one's perfect. There's over time they see each other in the most perfect light. It takes some time to do that, but ahav b'shleimusa and ahav she'ein tuli b'davar can get there. But al kishizar milidaber, right? So again, you can't love the Torah b'shleimus if you have a chisaron in your Torah. Aval. But if you're careful not to speak negatively about anybody in Klal Yisrael, and you don't find, you're careful not to find any ra, any chisaron in any yid, and even if you do find something, because it's so obvious, you're on the kaschus. You say Alpha Pekin, he does a lot of good things. I'm still going to love him. Meaning you only look at the white paper, you don't look at the black dot, as those we use the marshal all the time. Don't get caught in the black dots. Even if there's a few of them, there's still a lot of white paper, white oak tag that surrounds it. And you have the ability to focus on what you want, right? Just like a person could focus on the black dot and totally miss the white oak tag, you could just as much, and even more so, focus on the white oak tag and miss the black dots. But very often a person only focuses on the black dots because, for a few reasons. It could be he's a guy, it could be his own low self-esteem, many different reasons. Kina, Akopanim. אבל כשיזהר מלדבר על שום ישראל ולבלי לא נמצא שום חיסרון בשום ישראל נמצא שאין בהתורה שום חיסרון מום אז בוודאי יאהב את התורה מאוד. If you're careful not to speak badly about any other yid, you're not thinking badly about any other yid, you only love the yid and you try your best, guess what? There's going to be no chisaron in your Torah, and you're going to come to love that Torah a lot. What happens when you love something a lot? You want to be with that thing as much as possible. If you had true ahava for something, true ahava, you'd want to be with it all the time. You could love steak, but that's not true ahava. Right? Loving steak is really loving yourself, loving your belly. But if you really loved something, you'd want to be with it all the time. Right? A chassan and kala who have true ahava between the two, they want to be with each other all the time. Yeah, they have to go to work sometimes, but they have other things to do. But if they really had that ahava, they would want to be with each other as much as possible. And if you love the Torah so much, Mamil, you'll be a masmid. Right? Why wouldn't you be? Again, if you have the time. As long as you're not at work and you don't have to do things for the wife or the kids, you get right back to the base measure. You get right back to your sefer. If you loved it so much, that's where you'd be a masmid. Yeah? That's a segula for asmada. Segula for asmada is don't speak negatively, don't think negatively about any other Jew. Only find good in them. That's a segula. Because then you're the Am Segula. Because then you're tapping into what HaKadosh Baruch Hu called us, the Am Segula. But if you see a chesed in another Jew, so you're saying he's not Am Segula. If you're just saying he's not Am Segula, then guess what? You just pass out your Sefer Torah. This is the end of Torah Hashem Tamima. A perfect Torah. Hainu, Kisha Torah Hashem Hi Tamima, Belishum Chisaron Umum. Right? Pashup Shah Torah Hashem Tamima is a statement. The Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is perfect. It's all. There's nothing to talk about. But the Amkus, Rabbi Nachman says, it's upon us to make it Tamim or not. Tamim means Shalom. If we find a Chisaron in a Jew, you just messed up Torah Hashem Tamima. Kisha Torah Hashem Tamima, Belishum Chisaron Umum. When the Torah is whole, it's perfect without any Chisaron, any lacking, any mum. Dahainu. Kishin Haran livli ledaber v'liv limtzo shum chisaron b'shum Yisraeli. When a Jew does not speak negatively, doesn't think, doesn't find any chesronos in a Jew, he's not looking for chesronos. And these are the osios of the Torah, these Jews. Then the Torah of Hashem is perfect. Belishum chesronomum. There's no mum, nothing. Azayu meshivas nafesh, right? Torah Hashem tamima. Meshivas nafesh, it brings back. It's a tshuva of the nefesh. It brings you back to that soul state. Azayu meshivas nafesh ki az daika zochama ahavas atorah. It's going to bring you back to the state of nefesh. You're going to be zocha to ahavas atorah, and you're going to become whole. The Torah is going to be tamim, and you're going to become tamim. Umargishin tam mesikas atorah. What is this meshivas nafesh in actuality when you come to love the Torah more and you come to be a masmid Torah? Umargishin, you'll feel a delicious taste, a sweetness of the Torah. Right? Everybody learns. We all learn, but it's not always so sweet. We do because we have to do it. Right? We have to eat certain foods. You have to eat certain proteins. But I'd rather just eat candy if I could. I'd rather just eat fruits all day, whatever it is. You understand? Could you imagine if the Torah was sweet? Imagine a world where you just wanted to learn all the time. See, it's not only just about understanding. Rabbi Nachman doesn't say to your master you have to understand Torah, you have to have a good cup, he says you have to love Jews. If you love Jews, Yisrael, Kuchabricha, Oraisa, Chad. Klal Yisrael, totality of Klal Yisrael. Kadosh Baruch Hu and Torah is one. You want to love Torah, you got to love the Jews. You want to love the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you got to love the Jews. You want to love the Jews, you got to love the Torah, and you got to love Kadosh Baruch Hu. Right? It's all one. It's just a sweet line. We don't speak of Mesikas Torah too much. In the yeshiva system, yes, they'll speak of Mesikas Torah, but outside that system, you don't speak about it much. A lot of other things we have to work on, but we have to speak about it. Mesikas Torah, and it could come from a nice piece of Chassidus. It can come from a Mishnah, Gemara. Because Mesikas is not only about understanding it and have a Chiddush. Mesikas is appreciating the Torah. You can't appreciate the Torah if you don't appreciate a Jew. Right? One wouldn't think that should matter. What shaykhis? Really, what shaykhis? The Mishnah, Gemara? You're telling me that I actually enjoy Gemara more? That thing that I really, really don't like, that I got burnt out from when I was younger? I'm going to appreciate that more if I start loving Jews? That doesn't even make any sense. We didn't ask you if it makes sense or not. We didn't ask you for your logic, sir. It's a spiritual logic. It's a different Indian. Try it. Look at every Jew in a positive way. Give it a few weeks. Also, you have to want to learn Torah. that will create a tam, Sichos Haran, nefesh, that's going to return to the nefesh, the soul. Because there's no chisaron. There's no chisaron in the Torah. And guess what? If there's no chisaron in the Torah, there's no chisaron in you. Sometimes we don't even realize we have chisaron. When you look at a chisaron in another Jew, it says Baal Shem Tov 101. If you find the chisaron in another Jew, guess what? You have that chisaron. That's the only reason why you saw the chisaron in another Jew. You must have it somehow. So if you want to fix up your own chisaronos, start looking at other people in a positive way. Then you won't have any chisaronos. And then you'll enjoy learning Torah. A lot of times a person doesn't want to learn because low self-esteem, doesn't understand, it's not good for him. But all of those insecurities, the low self-esteem is because you look at other people in a bad way. And you look at people in a bad way because you don't love the Torah. How could you change this whole thing? Start looking at people in a good way. The whole thing could change. And then you'll be zochet to asmada. Gevalt segul from Rabbi Nachman. So, the reason people don't learn enough is because they don't love the Torah enough. Right? If you love the Torah more, you'd learn more. So we don't learn enough because they don't love the Torah. And we don't get a gishmak. So again, many people might say, why don't you get a gishmak from your learning? Because you don't understand it so well. It's not the style of learning that is good for you. I don't do Gemara. We're not going to say something totally different. It's earth-shattering. And you have to believe in the tzaddik, and then you have to try to do it. The reason why you don't love the Torah, the reason why you're not learning Torah, you're not learning because you don't love it. You don't love it because you don't love the Jewish people. That's what he said. It's a crazy thing. But if you love the Yidden, you'd love the Torah. And if you love the Torah, then you'd learn the Torah more. It wouldn't bother you if you don't fully understand it. You'd find anything. An English, a Hebrew, a Babylonian. It doesn't matter. Chassidus, a Musar, a Chumash, a Mishnah, a Gemara, a Drush. What is it? If you loved it, you'd run after it. You'd find something. The only way to love the Torah is if the Torah is whole. The only way the Torah is whole is if you love every Jew. You don't find chesronos in it. This is a way Rabbi Nachman is teaching us to break out of the cycle. Right? The cycle is, I don't learn so much. Why not? Because I don't love it so much. But I don't love it so much because I don't learn so much. But I don't learn so much because I don't love it so much. So the chiddush is, Rabbi Nachman is saying, so you're stuck in a cycle. How do you break out of that cycle? That's a schab. Is you have to find another way in. Again, loving every Jew will help you love the Torah. Once you love the Torah, then you start learning. Once you start learning, you'll love it even more. Once you love it even more, you'll learn more. Once you learn more, you love it more. And then you'll just throw all the Jewish people in the mix and everything. That's what he's saying.
Wow, that seems like... I don't want to interject if you...
Jump in.
I mean, I do want to interject, but I want to say I don't want to interject. But anyway, I love this. Thank you so much. It's also, it can go vertically, right? Like if someone loves Hashem first, then that should also translate down. Or they'll lack in their relationship with Hashem. It will be like, as the Torah, Hashem, Jewish people are one. That any lack I'm seeing there, it's like obviously a lack in me, and then if I repair that in there, it should work. So it's like just a wonderful, great gateways.
So let me read you something I only wrote down a few minutes ago. Let's extrapolate from this to something else that goes on in our lives, that could go on in a person's life. Sometimes you have a person in life who's not motivated. He's not motivated. Well, he's a little bit sad, a little depressed, whatever it is. He's not motivated. He's not moving so much. Why? Why is the person unmotivated? He's not motivated at work. He's not motivated in spirituality. He's not motivated in his relationship. He's just not motivated. He's unfortunately a droopy Jew. And not just by davening or bringing him back. He's a droopy Jew. It's a lashon we use usually when it comes to davening. Walking to davening like without excitement. So we call him a droopy Jew. How it started, I'm not sure. It's going to be the next Jewish rapper. Droopy Jew.
Hopefully not.
Well, it could be mamtik, I don't know. Anyway, so why is that? So it could be, sometimes, is because a person doesn't like himself. Because he has a chisaron. He finds a chisaron in himself. I don't do this well. I'm not good at that. I messed this up. Now, he doesn't say that out loud. It's in his head. So his lack of motivation is because if you'd be able to expose his thoughts, there is a type of person, it's because he's down on himself. And he's down on, one of the reasons why he's down on himself is because he's not a motivated person. Look, I'm not even motivated, I can't do anything. And he's not motivated because he has chesronos. One of his chesronos is that he looks himself in a way bad because he doesn't have a motivation. So he's not right, they're not motivated. So it's like a downward spiral. It's a similar cycle. Right? I'm unmotivated because I have a lacking. One of his lackings is he sees himself unmotivated. His unmotivated lacking makes him more unmotivated. This is what goes on. People don't usually know what's motivating them or not motivating them. Right? People just know how they behave. They don't chop what's going on in their head. Sometimes it's just like it's a silliness. So, how do we break out of that cycle? So it's a similar thing. How do we break out of this cycle?
Love yourself.
So it's very easy to just say love yourself, but it's easier said than done. What's something that a person could do behaviorally?
Do something nice for somebody.
Okay. Could try to go outside of your own system, help another person, maybe. But I was trying to stick within the self. First of all, it comes up from Menachem must be that a person is speaking negatively about himself.
Take a look at you. Good.
Before going outside anybody else.
Yeah, no.
If a person could.
Oh, I mean, I'm just thinking, look at tomorrow on 280, the Zamra, right?
The Zamra.
Right.
The Zamra.
Look at your good point. Very,
So this is back. We're back to Zamra.
Right.
A person is, he's usually not speaking negatively about himself, even though he does. I'll tell you an example. First of all, a person thinks negatively about himself. He's thinking bad. First of all, stop thinking bad about yourself. You have to know that you're thinking bad about yourself. Again, most people, a lot of the tikkunim, a lot of things we could do it ourselves, just that we don't know how to do it, so we need to go to a therapist. Just, if a person would catch himself thinking negatively about himself and say, that's ridiculous. It's just partially ridiculous. Why am I thinking negatively about myself? Thinking negatively about myself makes me feel negative. Making me feel negative makes me act negative. Making me act negative makes me think I'm negative. Guess what happens next? Then I feel negative, then I act negative, then I think myself negative, then I catch this. First of all, you have to chap that you're in the cycle. Step one, chap, you're in the cycle. Most people don't realize. They just feel and then they act. They feel and then they act. They don't realize there's a thought going on behind the scene. Because when you act, then you start to think, that's who I am, then I'm going to feel that way, then I'm going to do it again. Look at me, that's who I am. So first know that you're in the cycle. And then, if you could first stop that, ask yourself, is this good what I'm doing? Is this helping me at all in my life? The answer, of course, is going to be, no, this is pashut silly. I don't know if people can get to this. I'm not sure. Because you can only get to this if you're able to sit and think. We're too tired to sit and think. We're too busy. Why are we too busy? Because we're trying to make ourselves happy. Right? We're running around trying to make money, trying to make ourselves happy. So we don't have enough time to think about our chesronos, which are the cause of our unhappiness. It's you see, he gets it because he's laughing because it's true. It's sick. We think that we're going to run and get other stuff to make ourselves happy, but the happiness is just stop running for a minute. Stop. What's the cause of your chesron? Why are you running after simcha? Because I am lacking. What are you lacking?
The fishing boat.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Get ready up for fishing.
You know the Maisa?
Yes, I know.
You can tell the story.
She got its fishing. He goes, we should go by boat. And
Oh yeah, no. That's true.
Open, build the business, be a
Exactly.
distributor.
And after you get all the millions of dollars, what are we going to do?
We'll go fishing.
We'll sit on the boat and fish all day. So why don't we just do that right now? So why does a person lack motivation? So it comes from a lack of good feeling. I don't act, right? I'm not moving. Why are you not moving? Because I don't feel like moving. Right? Why don't you feel like moving? Because I don't think that I should. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I should Move. I'm not worthy. Sometimes shame, guilt. You have those types of people. Yes?
Yeah.
One of the deepest problems is because a person doesn't feel like he has a purpose in this world. Where did it come from? What are you not worthy for? I'm not like everybody else. I'm not worthy. Let me ask you a question, sir. What's your purpose in this world? Let's go back. Why were you created? I didn't ask everybody else. Why are you, David, Shmuley, why are you in this world? Do you even know why you're in this world? Do you have any idea? Well, if you don't have any idea of that, it's pretty hard to do anything else properly. So you're just like, your eyes are closed and you're just like groping around in the darkness of life. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? If you can't answer that question, then we have a problem. And if you don't know the answer, you should want to know the answer. And if you want to know the answer, you start asking people or ask yourself. You probably can figure it out. And if the answer is, well, I'm in this world because I have to learn Kol Torah Kula and I have to be a millionaire, and then you're a crazy person. It's good for those who are with us on Monday, Wednesday. It's good. At least Shalom Sana Goy. At least not a guy.
What?
Kadosh Baruch Hu made me a yid.
Oh.
Nachman says that's one of the biggest tikkunim for sadness, is to be able to sing Shalom Sana Goy. But Al Kapon, a person needs a purpose. Because if you have a purpose, then you can start feeling accomplished. People don't act because they don't feel. Why don't you feel? I don't feel accomplished. I'm unworthy. What do you think you're supposed to be doing and accomplishing that you're not feeling that? I don't know. How can we even start? So we have to catch this cycle. We have to catch ourselves in these chesronos, whether I'm lacking motivation in my learning, and that's because I'm finding a chesron in every Jew, or I'm lacking motivation in my own doings in life, because I have a chesron in the essence and purpose of who I am, what I'm doing here. Just like the purpose of the world is for a Jewish nation, like we said before. And the Torah was created to serve the Jewish people. So too, I have to come to some understanding of the purpose of my life if I'm going to be able to even have a chance at filling my chesronos.
And was it Lubavitch Rebbe, or I know Rabbi Shalom Farwak, the Baror also chosen to light up everyone else, let everyone else know that they're chosen, right? To know that, turn them on to Hashem. That it's all one, man.
It's one thing. Remember we said before, I'm never thinking about this. We spoke about consistency and persistence, right? Hasmada. Netzach and Hod, we said, right? So how do you start when a person is lacking motivation, he's not moving? Yes? Mm-hmm. So what are the two spheres of movement? Well, it's based on the right leg and the left leg. What are the right leg and the left leg? Netzach and Hod. Netzach, to be menatzech, to be persistent, to be consistent. To start walking, right? You're standing still. You got to put your right leg forward. You got to be persistent. You got to push forward. And then you bring the left leg and you create a consistency. You have to move. When a person feels a lack of motivation, he has to start moving. How do you start moving? You need to find some kind of purpose. Sometimes a person, I don't know what I'm doing over here. I'm not sure exactly. Okay, let's say you can't find the purpose. That's it. What else can motivate a person? What happens if you have a person, you have a kid, and you ask the kid, what are you doing in this world? He's like, I have no idea. So then if you have no idea what you do, so then why are you going to daven? Why? I don't know. My parents told me to do it, and I love my parents. I guess I'll just... And when you're a little kid, you don't really know why you're doing anything. But if the parent loves you, you love the parent, or the Rebbe loves you, you'll do it. Sometimes you do it out of fear, but let's say a healthy way. Right? I'm motivated because my parents love me. And ahava is one of the greatest motivators. So let's talk about ahava. How do we get motivated? When you feel ahava, but no one loves me. Well, there is somebody who loves you. Who loves you? Kadosh Baruch Hu. How do you know he loves you? Well, you're alive. He'll let you be alive. Kadosh Baruch Hu. You can see? Can you breathe? Yeah. Who let you do that? I guess Kodesh Baruch Hu. Oh, so I guess so he's giving to you, yes? You know what giving is called in another language? Ahava. Because ahava and chesed is the same meaning, to give. If a person could come to believe that, he can be makir the tov, hakaras hatov. Now we're talking hod. But when a person says, yeah, but that, I don't know. It's not enough for me. You know what he has to do sometimes? I'm saying this in a joking way. He has to get adlo yada. Meaning, we have all these ideas. I think I'm not worthy. Or when your person says, I'm not worthy, it's I think. I assume. Who asks you for your assumptions? Who asks you what you think about yourself? Right? All the time we're judging ourselves. Who told us to judge ourselves? Especially in a negative way. Judge yourself in a positive way. Adlo yada. I'll explain to you why I'm saying that in a minute. Adlo yada means until you stop thinking. Right? A person has to drink and Purim. Adlo yada. You don't know the difference between Araham and Baruch Mordechai. Sometimes a person says, I'm Araham. And the next day he's like, no, I'm Baruch Mordechai. We sometimes have to rid ourselves, to go above that. And say, some days this, I'm a Yid. We mechazik ourselves. Ani mamin. You know what I tell you guys? Those, you were here? Many months ago. Remember I said, we were talking about Amunah, and if we don't want to use the word believe anymore. Remember this? Because believe might mean, I believe it to be true. The word believe in English now has a connotation of doubt. Not vadai. Emunah is vadai. So remember what I said? What was the avoda? To say every single day, ani mamin. No questions. And what did I tell you? I told you that you should say it every day. It doesn't matter. There is one person who till today, I promise you, I can show you on my phone. I'm not going to show you. He's still, once a week at least, he'll text me, ani mamin. Consistency. And in telling you, it has held him very high. He's mamash on fire. It's unbelievable. This has been the guiding light in his life. Ani mamin. So, one in a million. Akopanim, hakar satov, to appreciate what Kadosh Baruch Hu has done for us, to feel that love. Hod, that's Hanukkah, that's Hod. Try to get out of, stop speaking negatively about ourselves, stop assuming about ourselves. It's a hard thing to do. Ad lo yada, that's Purim, that's Netzach, that's a Hod. This is the way that we get motivation to walk. So if we can't figure out the purpose of life, which is of course to serve Kadosh Baruch Hu, to be davik to Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's the tachlis. Tachlis akol. Amunah, dvegus. Then we have to find some other things to help us out until we get there. Recognize that Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving us all the time. We do receive a lot from other people. Try to stop this negative cycle. Get out of that negative cycle. Catch yourself doing it. Catch yourself speaking negatively about yourself. And say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's a self-destructive mechanism. Build the Hod and the Netzach properly, Netzach and then properly, and start moving. Look at every Jew positively. Love every Jew. You love the Torah. You love the Torah. You're going to want to learn the Torah. Stop looking at yourself negatively. Start loving yourself. You become motivated. You start being able to megala that personal mission that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you in this world. Part of it is learning Torah. Part of it is davening with excitement. No droopy Jews. Only excitement. Only gishmak. Only ahava. Only energy. Okay, once in a while, a person has a love. That's fine. But the majority of our life, the most of the time, has to be with simcha, with ahava, with persistency, with consistency.